Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man. Bring up the mic. This is Morris Man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video for myself. And the reason why I say that is I'm going to look back on this video in about another year and say, man, I remember having another one of those. And the name of the title of the video should read, Goodbye AKai MPC60. For those who don't know, which most of us do in the music industry, what is that? It's a drum machine, sequencer, and sampler. In my opinion, one of the best. The only one I think I give a nudge above this one is the 3000. Everything else was garbage. And what I mean by that is compared to the MPC62 and the MPC 3000. The 2000 XL was garbage, and I'm gonna tell you why. The first one and the second one, meaning the MPC62 and the first one, was designed by Roger Lynn and also AKai technicians. The 2000 XL, at that point when it was released, Roger Lynn was out the picture. Because if you notice on the MPC 1 and 2, it has his name on it. And I'm going to show you just in a minute. The XL didn't because he had nothing to do with it. But I guess considering the price tag versus the 2 and the 2000, because I think the 2 maybe been about $3,500 when it was brand new, maybe 4. And brand new for the XL 2000 was like $800 to $1,000. So a lot of inspiring musicians could afford that because they couldn't afford that big price tag on the MPC 60 and 62. And the reason why the 2000 had a lot of issues was it took forever to load discs. You had to have a boot disc to load up the damn thing. I'm like, how do you go from the 62, and you just turn it on and it comes up to the next installment, which you got to boot up with a disc? I'm like, isn't that kind of backwards? You know, but they were cutting corners. The MPC62 had 8 outs in the back, straight out. You didn't have to buy an expander and all that nonsense. The XL, you had to buy an expander. So it's like an additional $200. And it's like, I thought I was trying to get the price down. But let me show you this. This thing is huge. And it's heavy. I purchased this actually for my birthday. This is one of my birthday gifts. And I got a good deal on mine. I got mine for about $1,300, and it was worth it. You know, because I had the first time I got the 62, loved it. Then I had to, you know, sacrifice some things for my studio. The second one I bought kind of fell on hard times financially. I said, you know, I can't keep all my expensive toys, so I had to let it go. So I told myself, I'm going to get another one, and I'm not getting rid of this one. I'm going to keep this until I croak. And I was intending to, but here's the problem with this one. I still had all my old discs from the first one, and I think I bought that one over 20-some years ago. And I kept it for this reason. I knew at some point in time before I leave here, I was going to buy another one. So I'm like, I'm keeping my discs. You know, it's a lot of good stuff on here, a lot of stuff that I wrote that was charted that I used this machine. You know, so I'm like, I'm keeping this. So I bought the 2000 for a steal at the pawn shop several years ago. And with the anticipation of being able to use the disc from the 2 onto the 2000. And the problem with that was, and normally what's supposed to happen is the newer stuff can read the old stuff, but the old stuff can't read the new stuff. So I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have a problem. So the 62, I had this for. The 2000 was quote unquote the new model. So I had my disc, loaded them in. 80% of the disc couldn't load the sound. It put it in there. It's like, we don't detect the disc. I'm like, oh shit. So it was useless to me. So I got rid of it. So I got this one. And like I told you, I had my disc stored away for almost 20-some years. And it was really nice to go back in and listen to all these great drum sounds and samples that I used in some of the compositions. And 90% of them did load on this machine. But the problem with this one, a long story short, because let me just say this first. What I love about this one is it loads much quicker than the 2000. You know, it's a pain in the tail to have to load anything, but it loaded pretty quick. And I never had any disk problems with it because some people said that their disk drives went out. I had two, and I didn't have a problem with that. The 2000 was notorious for that because, for one, it just took much longer to load, so it's just more wear and tear on the disk. And just about everybody that I know or knew that owned a 2000 XL had to get rid of them or replace a disk drive with a new disk drive or convert it over to or upgrade it to a smaller card, a flash drive or a zip drive, something like that. But the reason why I'm going to send this one back on Monday, and I don't want to. I mean, I remember, listening to all this stuff. I'm like, man, is for some reason, and I think it's a software issue, it will load. Like I told you, my sounds, 90% of the sounds I got on my disc, it will load. But the problem is it won't format a diskette. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just this disc. I load about 5 or 6 of them in there trying to format it. Nothing. It said that I was not able to read it. It was another issue. Yeah, I tried the double density, which is what I use for most of my disc, the sounds I put on the load in. And then they even tried high density. Neither one of them would format. So just based on that information alone, because I'm like, I can sample all day, but I can't save them because the disc, the machine won't format the disc. So I'm like, I'm screwed. So I'm forced to send this one back, and it's a shame because this one is in great condition. Because I've seen something like been beat with a sledgehammer. It's like, how do you miss the knobs missing? Some of the pads went dead, which, understand wear and tear because some people be beating the hell out of those pads. It's scratched all up and the disk drive is half working. I'm like, when you got something that costs this much money, you would think people would take extremely good care of it because the two that I had, I sold them in the condition that I bought them, which was excellent condition. There was no scratches. There was no issues with missing knobs. The disk drive never had any problems. The display, didn't have any problems. Because that's one of the few things I won't say it's a major problem, but it's not a convenience. Because I don't have 20-year-old eyes anymore, and when I did have 20-year-old eyes, my complaint then was the disk drive or the display is small as hell. You can barely read that. And that was with good 22-year-old eyes with no glasses. Now, fast forward in your 50s, dealing with diabetes, you can't even hardly read this thing. It's like, and there's some people that have upgraded where they put in a brighter light on the display so you can read it better. But the way that it, came out of the factory, it's real hard to read, especially at this stage of my life. I'm like, oh man, but I was trying to get through it. I'm like, I just get a magnifying glass or some stronger glasses specifically to read that display. So I was trying to, compensate for that. But when the disk drive would not format, I was like, it's toast. So I contacted the guy on eBay and said, hey, I got to send this back because I went through 25 discs. And what are the chances of 25 discs being corrupt or not usable? I've tried just about every disc that I can find around here, new and used, and they all read the same. You're not able to use this disc due to there's a defect somewhere or whatever. But, I think it's a software issue. That's the reason why it's not, because I know it's not the physical disc. But I just thought I would post this video because I love this machine. Like I said, to me, it's the best drum machine sampler sequencer ever made. And I only used it just for the drums. It's a sequencer. It's a MIDI SMPTE code, all that stuff, and it's huge. This thing is big and it's heavy. And maybe that's one reason why, and I didn't mention this, and I definitely want to mention this before I sign off. What I love about this machine is I can take, say, for instance, the Lisa's HR16, take the sounds and sample them into there, and they come back bigger, stronger, more punch. I can actually feel the kick when I got my headphones on. It's resonating through my bones. I'm like, this thing got some kick. And it might have something to do with the size of it, the filters. I know it's a thing with the filters. But anything you put in here, it comes back even better. I'm like, whoa. Because I'm going through my customized drum kits that I've done over the years for this machine. And I had a Roland JV880 drum kit that I sampled from the mount module, and it sounded good coming out the module. Coming out of here, it sounded even better. The kick is got more boom to it. The snares are more crisp and more bigger. You know, the hi-hats, love them, you know. I mean, if I can run across another one that works, you know, I probably will buy another one. But, you know, I got to send this one back because it won't format the disc. So, goodbye, AKai MP62. Gonna miss you.